Alright, so here we have in our on display is our instrument cluster, the Mercedes-Benz Actros or Mercedes-Benz Truck. As you can see here, it's quite an interactive dash. On the left-hand side, you've got your speedo with a fuel gauge below it, and on the right-hand side, you've got your rev range or rev meter with an AdBlue gauge below that one. In the centre here, our main instrument cluster, you've got a variety of functions that we use within the truck. So these six tabs up the top here are our 6 main chapters, and then to the left here, down the blue bar goes down. It can scroll through separate pages within each chapter. So chapter 1, we call that our truck info. So here you'll have your odometer. The main display here is obviously max total kilometres we've done, current time and temperature. As we flick down as well, you can have your drive or your since start, your odometers that you can reset. Includes hours, average speed and fuel consumption as well. So the advantage here is that you can have an overall consumption that the truck has done throughout its life, or we can get down to a since reset function. So then you can reset it per trip and just have a fuel reading and an average speed of a certain trip. Also within here we have our range gauge, so you can see the fuel and AdBlue levels at the moment, but it also gives you an estimated range of how far you've got left to go before you have to fill up. So 5,000 kilometres left on that full tank of AdBlue and 1,000 kilometres left on the fuel. As you can see, when as the gauge lowers, it does readjust this and recalculate it, so it will go down as the AdBlue levels go down. And then also an odometer for the drive it's on, so that'll reset each time you start a new drive within the truck. Our second chapter there is your odometer. So this is the most common function. People like the odometer digitally displayed on the instrument cluster. We also have Fleetboard Eco Support on our truck. So what Eco Support is it monitors the drivability or how the drive has been performing throughout the drive. So it measures things like even driving, how well they're using the accelerator pedal, roll brake, how well they're using the brakes, preemptive braking, how much they're letting eco roll take over and let the truck coast without using the gear itself. Continuous braking, so whether it's start-stop operation or driving quite smoothly, the set speeds, use of continuous brakes as well, so it also monitors how often the driver is using things like the engine brake, compression brake, retarder if it's fitted, things like that. Their shift patterns, are they driving and shifting at the optimal time, and use of accelerator pedal. So Eco Support's a new function in our new trucks, and it's quite intuitive in measuring the driver's skills and letting them know where there are areas for an improvement. The assistance system, so we have a lane assist and a proximity control system. I'll go into more detail about that a bit later, but we'll get through some of these dash functions first. Backup drive mode is a safety function. It's if there is ever a mechanical problem with the truck or an electrical problem that may be blocking it from gears, you can go into a backup drive mode. It's like a limp home mode, so it allows you to force the truck into either 2nd or 5th gear and just basically limp you off the road or get you into a dealership at low speed. Our instrument cluster is also set up for pre-wiring for a reverse camera. So our trucks have the ability to have a reverse camera, whether it be at the back of the truck or on the turntable for a prime mover. And when you go into reverse, this will pop up on the screen automatically. All our trucks are fitted standard with alarm clocks, so we have the function to be able to set alarms within the trucks. As we get into chapter 4, this is information on the systems that are fitted to the truck. So an example we've got on this one, this truck has weight scales fitted. So chapter 4, page 1 will show you the weights on each axle. It's a calculated weight but reasonably accurate. If the truck is fitted with tyre pressure monitoring, it'll also show you the tyre pressures of the truck. Level control, so this function is obviously for the rear suspension. And it tells you whether the rear suspension or if it's air suspension all around, whether the truck's lowered, raised or sitting in its neutral position. Trailer function, if you have a smart trailer connected to the truck, you can also get a lot of these same readings out of the displaying on the dash if your trailer is suitable for it. And then the maintenance system. So when you go into the maintenance system, it'll actually tell you there's no dipsticks or no measuring systems outside of the truck. Everything is checked from within the driver's seat. So it'll tell you when your next maintenance service is due. So moving on to chapter 5, these are what you'd call your gauges within the truck. It's all displayed within the dash. So here you can see the air pressure gauges. We have a primary and secondary air system, so it'll show each of those systems and what pressure they're sitting at. Coolant temperature, you can monitor that from here as well. Engine, so it'll monitor the engine oil. It says it's okay right now. If it is a little bit low, it'll tell you to add a litre or take a litre out if you put too much in. And you can see your engine hours in that part of the dash as well. Battery monitoring, so our trucks have battery monitoring. It'll tell you the status of the battery and give you a warning when batteries are getting low. And events, if there are any events, so for instance if you have a tail light out, it'll show up as an event within the truck itself here and tell you that your left-hand rear tail light is out. Diagnosis is quite a new function. This gives our technicians the ability to go into the truck. If there are any fault codes in it, they can actually flick through each of the control modules and work out which one of these has the fault and what it is. And then our final chapter down here is settings. So you can go through and adjust settings. Obviously the main menu settings where you can set times, whether you want kilometres per hour, miles per hour, gallons, litres, things like that. Lighting, there's a few functions to play with the lighting. You can adjust the brightness of the instrument cluster. You can set up different internal lights that will come on automatically with the automatic headlight function and things like that. Language, obviously we can adjust to a multiple of languages. We'll leave it in English for this one. Service products, all what this does is tell you what kind of oil you need to fit, or need to use on various components within the truck. So whether it be engines, axles, gearboxes, it'll give you a grade of oil that you should be using. And finally, system. So this system's function it can be expanded depending on the options you have, but it gives you the ability to turn on safety and economical features that come standard with the truck. So things like eco roll and crawler mode, you can have the ability to turn them on or off if you decide you don't want to use them. Attention assist, you can turn that off, and if some of the other systems are fitted, you can turn them on and off. Alright, so going through some of these controls on the steering wheel, as I said earlier, a lot of drivers prefer to have the digital display of the speedo up in the centre of the dash. So you have this little M button down here, which is a memory button. So if I hold that down, that stores that as a memory. So when I want to go to anything else, I can flick through, press the M button, and it's automatically going to go back to this stored display. So whichever display the driver decides that's what they want to see, you can store that in memory. You may have seen as I was scrolling through the instrument cluster, I was using these buttons here. So these are effectively your scroll buttons. Use them to go left and right through the menus, up and down through each page within the menu. An OK button to select it if it's available to be selected. The two buttons next to it, these are volume controls. So the volume can be adjusted for the stereo from within the steering wheel.